What happens when beloved comic superstars Kyle Higgins and Dan Mora unite to show you a Dark Knight like you've never seen him before? Well, you get a tokusatsu-inspired tale that sees us jump to the future and take a ride into the deep dark recesses of space. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Immortal Legend Batman issue number 1 and find out together, shall we? So then, this first issue wastes absolutely no time getting started. As we get thrown into the action, we're introduced to a young man who crashes his spaceship on a strange planetoid made up of shiny multicolored crystals. Also, his spacesuit totally looks like something you might see in an old Ultraman. If you're like me, you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, is this supposed to be our brand new Bruce Wayne, only for the book to completely swerve you when the actual Batman ends up busting through the wall like the goddamn Kool-Aid Man to start shaking this poor schmuck for information. Surprise, surprise, but it seems this brand new Batman is actually looking for Bruce Wayne, implying that they might not actually be the same person in this world, huh? Now, smash cut from there to a dark, lonely, and desolate mining colony where we can see 3 people looking over a dead body. These people, well, at least 2 of them have some very familiar names. There's Mayor Harvey Dent, Sheriff Bruce Wayne, and Ada V. As we learn, this is just the newest in a long string of deaths that is absolutely holding the mining station in a state of non-stop terror. They don't know when the next killing will happen, but Sheriff Bruce vows to get to the bottom of it. We also learn that in this Immortal Legends world, Gotham probably isn't a city, but probably another planet or station. Now, that might seem like a lot to take in, but believe it or not, you ain't seen nothing yet, because at that very moment, Sheriff Bruce Wayne ends up getting tackled by the Batman from before, revealing that, why yes, they are indeed 2 different people. This Batman believes that Bruce is responsible for all of these murders, but moreover than that, he says that he is not a human at all, but instead a shadow. A new and dangerous sort of creature that we don't actually end up learning more about until the latter half of the book. Surprisingly, Mayor Dent refuses to believe what the Batman is going on about right now, saying that Sheriff Bruce is a good man, he's fought off pirates, and genuinely made this mining planet a much nicer place to live ever since he showed up. Despite the fact that he is rich and famous, he was willing to give all of that up to try and focus on a simpler and more fulfilling life of public service. Furthermore, there have been rumors all throughout the universe that the immortal Batman has slowly but surely started to lose his goddamn mind, and that he is not the legend he once was. Ada V ends up pulling up in a mining vehicle and whisking Bruce and the mayor away. Not that Batman seems to mind that much, he is easily able to give chase, and in doing so shows off some of his brand new future anime-inspired gadgets. Don't worry, he's still got a grappling hook though. It doesn't matter the Elseworld, some things with Batman are just always written in stone, and a grappling hook is one of them. At first, Batman thinks that he may finally have cornered the fleeing trio, only for Ada to turn a giant mining laser on him. Dent says if that gun ends up firing, there's a good chance they're all going to die in the resulting explosion. But that, this is as good a chance as any to test this Immortal Legend Batman's level of morality. Or indeed, anyone's morality this close to death. It's right around here Sheriff Bruce starts getting a little mouthy to Batman, saying that, yeah, I did indeed kill those people, and I enjoyed every bit of it, you should understand. You should know better than anyone else what it's like to have your secrets, to have one face that you show the world, and another more personal, more secret, violent face. Realizing what's truly going on here and what's at stake, Batman figures the only way he's going to get these people to believe that he's actually a good guy on their side is by dropping his mask and revealing that he is indeed 100% the real Bruce Wayne, meaning that this guy is a shadow imposter. But not just any imposter, he is the Two-Faced Man. Look, we got Two-Face, but he ended up not being Harvey Dent in this world. How about that? Now, normally shadows are only supposed to be mindless, violent creatures, and the fact that this one can appear humanoid and think and plan means that they are getting more powerful. Which might also explain why, from the perspective of outsiders looking in, Batman has become more unhinged and more violent recently. It's also here too, before the big final fight scene ends up taking place, Batman has to put his costume back on, and in classic Toku fashion, he doesn't just do it, he needs his own henshin morphing time call, and in this case, it's Become the Night, which I like a whole lot. Batman and the Two-Faced Man battle it out for a little bit before eventually the Immortal Legend Batman decides to pull out the big guns, his ultimate finishing move, his own version of a rider kick, the Bat Press. press, which not only manages to defeat the villain and save the day, but also causes him to explode, which is tradition. And hey, speaking of tradition, the Immortal Legend Batman in this world is something of a wandering hero putting right what once went wrong, meaning that even after saving Ada and Dent from assured death, he can't stick around too long as he is already off on his next mission. Oh, but that doesn't mean the story is done, because the latter half of the book is actually filled with a lot of really important backstory and lore we learn in this world. Mankind abandoned Earth for the stars somewhere around the 22nd century. In doing so, they ended up completely changing their physiology, becoming denser, like Gundam and those damn moon people. This was also an era of amazing scientific advancement, particularly in the field of dark matter tech, the very technology that humans use to move their ships from place to place. Unfortunately, these dark matter experiments ended up having some truly horrible ramifications, as basically the first time they used the stuff, they ended up tearing a hole within the universe into another corresponding dark universe, which, you guessed it, was home to the shadow creatures, which ended up invading our world and wreaking an untold amount of havoc. The only thing that stood against these shadows was a group of 3 immortal heroes who in their time would end up becoming legends. They were, of course, Robin, Batman, and Nightwing. Some believed that they were aliens, some believed that they were gods, but in reality they were just humans who managed to harness the powers of bright, shadow, and both simultaneously to take the fight directly to the shadows and look a lot like the Gatchaman while doing it. Now here's the most surprising part: despite being called immortal legends, Batman, Robin, and Nightwing weren't immortal at all. In fact, they passed their mantles down to their young proteges. In this case, Harper Row and Stephanie Brown passed down the Nightwing and Robin identities to Dick Grayson and Tim Drake, respectively. Even Bruce Wayne himself received the Batman mantle from someone else after his parents were, you guessed it, murdered in Crime Alley by shadows. But here's the biggest twist of all as the comic comes to a close. The man who actually passed the Batman mantle on to Bruce is now starting to have second thoughts. He thinks he's gotten it wrong. And now he is dispatching his son to regain the Batman powers once and for all. And what is that son's name? Oh, just Tommy Elliot, as in Hush Tommy Elliot, ooh boy. And so that was Immortal Legend Batman issue number 1, everybody, and if you know me and my own personal taste, you'll know that this has probably been one of my most hotly anticipated new number 1s in a really long time. I've basically dedicated my whole life to talking about Batman and comic books. Toku and Power Rangers were probably one of my first loves, so putting all of these things in a blender basically means I'm the biggest lay in the world for this kind of material. Throw in the fact that it's written by Kyle Higgins, a man who has absolutely been killing it, a dude who I've always been a huge booster of, and a dude who was actually kind enough to talk to me and support me early on in my career as a young comic book journalist / consumer advocate / talking YouTube jackanape, and for that I'll always be eternally grateful. As far as the book itself goes, they certainly throw a lot at you in the first issue. It's a space western, and it's Kamen Rider, and it's Batman, but chances are if you picked up this book you probably love those things anyway, and you probably don't need all the little references and in-jokes explained to you. But I think even if you are a layman to those things, or even just have a casual understanding of all the stuff I said, you're gonna have a good time with this book anyway. It helps that Dan Mora draws one a hell of a comic. All of the design work here is absolutely top-notch, the sort of thing that the second I saw it, I just want to know more about it. I know some people have complained about the pacing of this book, the fact that we basically get a show-don't-tell adventure before they eventually just decide to tell you what's going on anyway in the second half. But personally, it didn't bug me at all. I had a lot of questions, and then the book answered those questions. What's not to like? If you liked Higgins' Power Rangers or Radiant Black, then I think you're gonna absolutely love this. I know I was absolutely in love with it, which is why I give it an 8.5 out of 10, and I can't wait to see where the series ends up going from here. The table has been set really well, and the sky is the limit. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.